The following is a presentation of JordanMaxwellVideos.com, the official research repository for the work of Jordan Maxwell. Today we're diving deep into the world of Jordan Maxwell, a man who's been called a conspiracy theorist, a scholar, and everything in between. Maxwell's work, delving into secret societies, symbolism, and hidden history, has captivated audiences for decades. But with such controversial topics comes a whole lot of myths and misconceptions that have swirled around him like a thick fog. We're going to try to clear that fog, folks. We're going to break down these myths, look at the evidence, and have an open, honest conversation about Jordan Maxwell. We're going to separate the man from the myth, the fact from the fiction, and see what's really going on here. So buckle up, folks, because this is going to be interesting.
One of the biggest misconceptions about Jordan Maxwell is that he invented the concept of secret societies. Now, if you're familiar with Maxwell's work, you know he talks a lot about groups like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Rosicrucians, all these organizations with their rituals and their symbolism. And because he's so knowledgeable, so well versed in this stuff, some people think he just made it all up. But here's the thing. The idea of secret societies didn't just appear out of thin air with Jordan Maxwell. We're talking about groups that have existed for centuries, with their roots going way back in history. The Freemasons, for example, trace their origins back to medieval stonemasons' guilds. The Illuminati, as controversial as they are, were a real organization founded in Bavaria in the 18th century. Maxwell didn't invent these groups, he shines a light on them. He digs into their history, their beliefs, their practices, and tries to understand their influence on the world. He's like a historical detective, piecing together clues, looking for patterns, and asking questions that make people uncomfortable. They'd rather dismiss him as some kook who made it all up, rather than confront the possibility that these groups, with their secrets and their influence, might actually exist. And Jordan Maxwell, for all his critics, has a knack for unearthing uncomfortable truths, no matter the cost.
Now, another common criticism leveled at Jordan Maxwell is that his theories are just that, theories. They say he's all speculation, no substance, that he's just weaving together a bunch of outlandish ideas without any real evidence. And yeah, I get it, some of the stuff Maxwell talks about can seem pretty far out there, but to dismiss his entire body of work as baseless speculation is just lazy. It's ignoring the countless hours of research, the mountains of historical documents, the years of study that Maxwell has poured into his work. This man doesn't just pull this stuff out of thin air. He's constantly referencing historical texts, ancient mythology, religious scripture, looking for connections, for patterns, for clues that can help us understand the world around us. He's like a modern-day Indiana Jones, except instead of searching for lost artifacts, he's searching for lost knowledge, for hidden truths. And sure, not everyone's going to agree with his conclusions, and that's fine. But to say that his work is devoid of evidence is just plain wrong. The evidence is there, folks. You just got to be willing to look for it. You got to be willing to question the official narrative, to dig a little deeper, to think for yourself. And that's what Jordan Maxwell encourages us to do.
Let's be real, folks. Nobody has all the answers. Not me, not you, not even Jordan Maxwell, despite what some people might say. There's this misconception floating around that Maxwell presents himself as some kind of all-knowing guru, claiming to have cracked the code of the universe and solved all the world's mysteries. But if you actually listen to the man, you'll realize that's not his style at all. Maxwell is the first to admit that he doesn't have all the answers. In fact, he's constantly emphasizing the importance of questioning, of critical thinking, of never blindly accepting anything as truth, just because someone in a position of authority told you so. He's not trying to spoon-feed you information or tell you what to think. He's trying to empower you to think for yourself, to question the world around you, to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Because that's what real knowledge is all about, folks. It's not about memorizing facts or blindly following someone else's interpretation of events. It's about asking questions, challenging assumptions, and being open to the possibility that things might not be as they seem. And that's what Jordan Maxwell is all about.
All right, let's talk about religion. Because this is where things get a little tricky with Jordan Maxwell. See, Maxwell has spent a lot of time studying religious texts, particularly the Bible, but not in the way you might think. He's not looking for spiritual guidance or moral instruction. He's interested in the history, the symbolism, the hidden meanings behind the stories and allegories. And let me tell you, he's uncovered some pretty wild stuff. Stuff that makes you question everything you thought you knew about organized religion. This has led some people to label him as anti-religion, as someone who's trying to tear down people's faith and destroy their beliefs. But here's the thing, Maxwell isn't interested in attacking anyone's personal faith. He's interested in uncovering the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. He's challenging the dogma, the institutions, the power structures that have used religion to control people for centuries. He's not saying you can't be a spiritual person or have faith in a higher power. He's saying, don't just blindly accept what you're told. Question everything. Do your own research. Find your own truth.
Now, there's this accusation thrown around that Jordan Maxwell is a fearmonger, that his whole shtick is about scaring people, about painting a bleak and hopeless picture of the world. And yeah, I'll admit some of the stuff Maxwell talks about, the secret societies, the conspiracies, the hidden agendas, it can be pretty unsettling, but to call him a fearmonger is missing the point entirely. Maxwell isn't trying to scare you. He's trying to wake you up. He's trying to show you that the world is a complex and oftentimes messed up place, and that there are forces at play that we may not fully understand. He's not saying be afraid, he's saying be aware. Be aware of the fact that things aren't always what they seem, that there are people in positions of power who may not have your best interests at heart. And that's not fear-mongering, folks. That's just reality. It's about being informed, about being critical thinkers, about not being afraid to question the official narrative. Because when we become complacent, when we just accept everything we're told without question, that's when things really start to get dangerous.
This one's kind of ironic, isn't it? Jordan Maxwell spends his life researching secret societies, exposing their secrets, and because of that, people assume he must be a member himself. It's like saying a journalist who covers the mafia must be a made man. Look, he has written books about these groups, given countless lectures, appeared on countless podcasts and documentaries, all with the aim of shining a light on their activities. Does that sound like something a secret society member would do? The reality is, Maxwell's deep knowledge of these groups makes him a target. They don't like it when someone comes along and starts asking uncomfortable questions, starts pulling back the curtain and exposing their secrets. So they spread rumors, they plant seeds of doubt, they try to discredit him by claiming he's one of them. It's a classic tactic, folks, and it's designed to sow confusion and make people question everything he says. But don't be fooled, Jordan Maxwell is not a member of any secret society.
Now, there's this whole argument that Jordan Maxwell's work isn't scholarly enough, that it doesn't hold up to academic scrutiny. They say he's not a historian, he's not an anthropologist, he doesn't have the credentials to be taken seriously. And to that I say, who cares? Since when did knowledge become exclusive to universities and ivory towers? Maxwell may not have a PhD, but he's forgotten more than most academics will ever learn. Mr. Maxwell has spent decades researching, writing, lecturing, and sharing his findings with the world. He's not afraid to challenge conventional wisdom, to question the status quo, to dig deeper and ask the uncomfortable questions that others shy away from. His work is a testament to the power of independent research, of critical thinking, of following the evidence wherever it may lead, regardless of academic accolades or institutional approval. And frankly, the fact that his work makes some academics uncomfortable is a good sign. It means he's on to something, that he's challenging their assumptions, their worldviews, their carefully constructed narratives, because real knowledge, folks, isn't confined to textbooks and lecture halls.
So there you have it, folks. We've tackled some of the biggest myths surrounding Jordan Maxwell, and hopefully shed some light on the man behind the controversy. Whether you agree with his conclusions or not, there's no denying the impact he's had on the world of conspiracy research, alternative history, and the search for hidden knowledge. Maxwell's work encourages us to question everything, to think critically, and to never stop searching for the truth. He reminds us that the world is a complex and oftentimes shadowy place, and that there are forces at play that we may not fully understand. And that, my friends, is a legacy worth celebrating. Please visit us at jordanmaxwellvideos.com and follow us on social media. Thank you for watching.